Sound check, sound check. How do I sound from this far back?
Fine.
Hey everyone, we're just gonna wait a few minutes for everyone to join and then we'll get started. If you guys have had some web experience or if you're beginners, just let me know in the chat so I know kind of how to structure the talk, what you guys are looking to know, what experience you've had, and what you're looking to get out of it or what you're looking to build. GeoCities, that's an old one. Alright, I think we'll get started. If anyone wants to say hi as we're going through, just reach out in the chat. So today we're going to be going through business websites in minutes. So really what we're looking at here is what are websites, how do you get set up, what do you need to know, and kind of how can you get there fast. So as we go through, the format will be open Q&A, so if you have any questions, feel free to jump on the chat and I'll answer those as we're going through. There are no stupid questions. You can ask at any point in time about anything that I'm talking about, or if you have other questions kind of related to web development, feel free to reach out on there. So the agenda for today is we're going to go through web solutions, what they have been, how they've changed over time, what people have been building their websites on throughout about the last decade. Now we're going to go through how website works. So this is how you call for a web page, how the server responds, how does that all work, how does Google know where your website is, and then we're going to go through and show you how to set up a business website. So what are those steps that you need to know to set up a business website, to get live and to start having customers come through? Then we're going to be doing a demo, so getting your website live in 5 minutes. So we'll be running through the platform that we've created to get a business website. We'll show you how easy it is to get online there. After that, we're going to move to a Google Hangout for those that are interested and want a bit of one-on-one help, that have some personal Q&A and that want to chat with us in person. So web development has changed a lot over the last few years. Back in the day, most people that were doing it were just programmers or someone similar, someone that knew the underlying setting up of a website. They kind of knew how to code, they were getting it all together. And back then, not much really changed on websites. You had to kind of get it pixel perfect. If you wanted to change something yourself, you had to go in and code it. Then, around 8 years ago to about 6 years ago, people started working on these build-it-yourself web platforms. So this allowed you to go in and click around. They allowed you to move components around and allow you to design your website yourself without needing to know about how to set up HTML, how to code, You didn't need to know any of that. You just needed to move it all around. They hosted it for you, and it was really easy. Now, in 2019, really you can find platforms that will get you online instantly. We are the founders of A.B, which is an online platform that gets businesses online in minutes. This is a demo site that we created. These things can get online within 2 minutes. From there, you can easily add bookings and some other options. So what do you need for a website? Really, a website is made up of a few things. Firstly, you need a domain. You need to figure out how you're going to host it, where are you going to host it, the software that you want running on that server. Then you've got to figure out how to do the branding and design, and then how to market it. So how do you get your visitors to then come to your website? You've invested time and money getting it online. How do you get people to it? So this is kind of how a website works. So you kind of get a domain, which is this domain register here. So this you can do in a number of ways. You can go on somewhere and buy it, and we'll show you how that sets up later. But really what this is this website here points to a server which has an IP address. That is usually the address of the host. So this is the computer that your website comes from. So what happens is a person is looking for your website, they end up finding a server that is hosting your website, and it sends back the web pages that that person has requested. So there's a few moving parts in here, and we're going to go through that. So the process of setting up a website. Firstly, what you want to do is you want to buy your domain. So when you're getting set up, there are a few options. There are a few domain providers out there. There's tons of domains now. You can see here in this screenshot here, there's .co, .melbourne, .online, there's .life, .business, .tech. Domain names have really expanded over the last few years. There's not just the .com and the .com.au, but you get an indication of how much it's going to cost you to set up. So for a .com.au, you're looking at about 5 years plan, and this one's discounted. So usually .com.au's come in at about $20 per year. A .co, you can hire them for 2 years, and it costs you about $49. So one of the things here to note is that you never really own the domain name, you hire it. So you pay this yearly fee, and you're hiring the domain name. A lot of domain names are not available, so if you have a good idea for one, you can go online and you can search to see if it's available, or if you're using something like A.B, you can contact us, and we actually help with consulting around domain names. So you can tell us a few ideas, and we can come back to you with some available names. Once you have your domain, really the next part is to set it up and to point it to your server, what's hosting your website. And to do that, you have to set up a name server. So there's lots of solutions out there. Sometimes the person you buy the domain from might have it. Here we're pointing it to a couple of other servers. This is a domain that we have. So you point it somewhere so that when someone's doing a search for your domain name, they know the internet knows where to find it. Once you have that set up, then what you have to do is you have to go into your name records and update these. So there's lots of name record types. You can see here that we have CNAME records set up, MX records, and mail records. So for all these different kinds of services that your website has, so if you have custom email addresses, you need to set up MX records. If you're just setting up your domain, usually it's just CNAME records that you need to set up. It's probably important to note at this time that there's a lot of software out there nowadays where you don't have to set this up yourself. If you're using an out-of-the-box solution like ours, what happens is you request your domain, it comes through and it's already set up for you. Hosting. So a lot of people like to set up their own web servers, but really if you're going to be doing a DIY approach, you'll probably already know how to set up websites, and you've probably done this a few times. This usually takes a few days. This could take a few weeks if you're trying to learn it yourself as you go along. It can take quite a while. The other solution in this way, if you're doing a custom solution, is you can pay a developer, and those developers can set up the web server for you, they can set up the hosting, and they can often set up the domain. Developers are quite expensive, so if you're paying for one, you'll probably find that you'll outspend rather than using a solution that is all-in-one and has a monthly fee. They usually come in at a bit cheaper. So you can go with a host that has some pre-installed software. This might be WordPress to get your site set up. This could be something like Shopify or WooCommerce. There's a lot of things out there where they come with the hosting and they come with the software on top of it. So you don't need to set up much yourself, and you have the hosting already set up for you. Often, if you're buying hosting off someone, they will charge you based on the data that you're using and how you set it up. So I mentioned WordPress before, so when you're building your website, you can have a few different software solutions. So WordPress is one of those. You can use something like Drupal. There are a lot of software solutions out there where you can install that on that server that you have. Most of the time, if people are going down this path though, they'll hire a developer. They'll hire someone that has the experience in this. So I've mentioned WordPress a few times. WordPress is what is called a CMS. So this is a content management system. This is what one of the dashboards looks like. And really what it is, it's a way for you to manage your content and your website. It's not the most intuitive. It's a bit dashboardy. It doesn't really show you the templates, and within WordPress they have a whole bunch of themes that you can choose from and add them to the website. Changing stuff like getting plugins, changing themes, updating colors. If you're using something like a CMS solution, you may need a developer to jump in and help you with those things. Website builders. So website builders online software that allow you to go in, and this is where you can kind of get into dragging and dropping your web page around. So you don't really need to know about hosting, you don't need to know about web development. You can really just go in and drag and drop components around. They are quite a bit complex to set up. As you can see here, there's lots of menus, it's quite dashboardy, and you really have to know what you're doing in terms of design. If you don't know what you're doing in terms of design, you don't really know about call to actions, about UI, UX and setting them up, then an out-of-box solution is probably what you're looking for. An out-of-the-box solution is something that gets you your domain, it gets the hosting, it gets the software, and it's all set up for you. Usually these are a monthly fee. The thing we run is called A.B, and this is kind of a screenshot there so that you can see that it comes with templates already set up, and within this template you can go in and you can click edit, and there are inline edits within this setup page. You can also see that rather than dashboarding, we have a pretty simple interface that allows people to add appointments, to add online bookings. So your payments and all that is already set up. You don't need to go and get a payments provider yourself. It all comes out of the box and it's already set up. The theme's already there for you. You just jump in and edit it. So branding and design. There's quite a bit that goes in branding and design. Most people start with a domain and logo. So once you kind of know what your business name is, how do you get a logo? You could go and hire a consultant that will do that for you. Usually it's quite expensive, so you can spend up to about $10,000 on a logo if someone's going to design it for you. You can also reach out to agencies that might do it for slightly cheaper. The other alternative is to use one of those out-of-the-box solutions like A.B, and often these websites will have built-in logo makers. There is both a custom logo and the ability to get your logo outsourced within A.B, so if you're looking for something like that, it can be handled. Design. So really, designing a website, it's not just putting it together and making it look pretty to the eye. There's a bit more that goes into it. You have to know about call to actions, about conversion, A/B testing, what's going to convert your customers and get them interested in your business. How do they know what to click on? There's a lot of optimizations here that can be done. For all of our themes, we've optimized them already, and they come out of the box optimized. So you just have to add your content in there, the buttons are in the right place, the content is in the right place, it's easy to use, and your customers will have an easy process to purchase. Along with branding and design, a lot of people go down the path of stock photos. You want your website to look professional, you want them taken by a professional photographer. You can go and find online marketplaces that will sell these stock photos, or again, you can use something like A.B, and the support team will actually help you with that. So, how do you create content online? How do you get people to come to your website? A lot of the time, digital marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, they can get expensive. There are better ways of getting customers that are more suited to your business, and a lot of this is around creating content, creating pages that are optimized for users that use your service. So if you're in the accounting field, this can be creating blogs around tax time, particular to your area. So the more specific the content is that you're creating, the better those customers are that are going to reach out from there. If you do something that's too vague, not only will you be pushed down the Google ranks, but you'll find that you get many customers that are actually not appropriate for you, and you end up spending more to get more people but less conversions, less customers at the end of the day. With campaigns, there's a lot that goes into digital marketing. There's a lot of back-end research. There are a whole bunch of different channels. Do you use Twitter? Do you use LinkedIn? Do you use Facebook? Do you use Google? A few services out there are now offering some campaign tools, so you can go and pay for some software at a monthly fee that allows you to run your campaign and pick the best markets for you and know where your customers are and how to reach them. With A.B, we have a paid advertising black box where you set up your marketing budget and we come back with the return on investment that we're getting for your ads. So, one of the best ways of getting free leads is through something like Google search engines. And how do you rank? How do you get on them? A lot of that is quite technical. So with these web builders and creators like A.B, we've already taken care of that. So a lot of the time you have to set up your SEO, which is your search engine optimizations. So this is around, are you using the right words? Are you using the right meta tags and HTML tags? Are they in the right place? Is your website loading fast? So if you're setting up your own website on your own hosting, you will often find that you need to set up all this yourself. For those DIY web builders and platforms like A.B, it's already taken care of. You have the fields there that you can update. They auto-update depending on the content that you've put on there, and we get you listed somewhere in Google with the correct information in the listings. You often find that if you haven't set it up correctly, that the content that lists on Google is incorrect. It might look ugly. You might have missing things here. You might have a menu that shows up here. So we've set that up for you. So there's various ways to get online. You can code it yourself, but if you're not a web developer, then I'd say this would take a lot of time. Usually this is for hobby projects, if you kind of know what you're doing and you're a bit more skilled in web development. But really, if you're running a business, then you should be focused on your business and you should be letting someone else take care of this. You can hire developers. Again, hiring a developer is quite a tricky game. You need to know where to find them. You don't want someone ripping you off. And if you do have that information asymmetry where they know more than you, you should watch out for price gouging. You could go with something like a web framework that's already built. Often the time you'll need to find hosting for that. You may need to find a developer that can set it up for you. Or you could jump straight in and build it yourself using a web builder. Web builders might take you a few days to get all the content set up, but at the end of it, it'll be a lot cheaper and it will take a lot less time. And then there are a few web generators. So we run A.B, a web generator. It roughly takes a few minutes before you have your website online. we charge a monthly fee of $29 per month, and that gets you online with your domain. You can accept payments, and there is a free mode if you want to try it out, where you get a subdomain. You can get your website online in a couple of minutes. If you want to start setting up events, appointments, bookings, then you can jump on, I forget what I was saying, scale. Alright, so what we're going to do now is run through a simple demo of how you get set up on A.B. So if you're a new user to A.B, just press Start Free. You can log in with Facebook or log in with Google. I'll log in with my Google account, and I'll do a new one. Now you're already online. This is your subdomain. So if I go in here, the website's live. You can go in here and you can edit it. And then your changes come through to the website. Same with changing photos. So you see how easy it is. You can add your contact details down here, and this will actually go and get you listed in things like Google Places, on Maps, and so that you people can find your business online. So we offer both do-it-yourself option, where you can jump on there, fill out your template, and give us a call if you're having any troubles. Otherwise, if you're looking for another kind of solution, we can help you there too. We also act as an agency to help you out with your website. If you're looking for something else like an e-commerce solution, we can help you with that too. For those that are online, and if you would like the Hangout link to jump on for some live support after this broadcast, just throw your name in the chat and I'll message you the link for the Google Hangout.